Donald Trump is back. Whether you love him or hate him, there's no denying that Trump's potential return to the White House in 2025 would be one of the most significant political events in modern history. From economic policies to international conflicts, media wars, and controversial reforms, what can we truly expect from a second Trump presidency? In this video, we'll break it all down. His policies, his likely challenges, and the impact he could have not just on America, but on the world. Stick around, because this is going to be big. Before we look ahead, let's take a quick step back and examine how Trump managed to pull off a victory in 2024. His success wasn't a simple fluke. It was the result of several key factors that played into his favor. Economic concerns. Many Americans were grappling with inflation, job losses, and rising costs under the Biden administration. Trump capitalized on this frustration, positioning himself as a leader who could reverse these economic challenges. Border security. Immigration was one of the most contentious issues in the 2024 campaign. With the ongoing crisis at the US-Mexico border, Trump was able to use this issue to galvanize support among voters who felt that stronger action was necessary to protect the country's borders. Public perception. Trump marketed himself as the ultimate comeback candidate, positioning himself as a figure who could restore strength and stability to a country under a struggling administration. Media influence. Despite being banned from major platforms like Twitter, Trump's presence on social media didn't fade. His return to platforms like Truth Social and Twitter helped re-energize his base, reigniting the political movement that had helped him win in 2016. What does this mean? Trump's victory wasn't just about his loyal supporters. It was a mix of economic frustration, effective campaigning, and the declining popularity of the incumbent administration. One of the most pressing questions people are asking is, what will Trump do with the economy if he returns to office? Based on his previous term and campaign promises, here are 3 key economic strategies we can expect. Tax cuts 2.0. Trump has always pushed for tax cuts, especially for businesses and wealthy individuals. In his second term, we can expect him to continue pushing for tax reductions, with the aim of fostering job creation and stimulating economic growth. America First trade policies. Expect more tariffs and tougher trade deals, particularly with China. Trump's administration will likely continue to push for trade policies that prioritize American interests, which could lead to a more aggressive stance in international trade negotiations. Deregulation. Trump is likely to roll back many of the regulatory policies introduced during the Biden administration, especially in sectors like energy and labor. His argument will be that excessive regulation kills American jobs and stifles economic growth. While business owners and corporations might cheer these policies, critics argue they could widen the wealth gap and harm the environment. Regardless of the controversy, Trump's economic strategy will focus on aggressive growth and business incentives. Trump's stance on immigration has always been one of the most controversial aspects of his political career, and his second term is expected to take a hardline approach. So, what can we anticipate? Border wall expansion. Trump has consistently pushed for a stronger, more fortified US-Mexico border. His administration will likely resume construction on the wall, emphasizing it as a vital step in securing the nation's borders. Stricter deportation policies. Trump has made it clear that he intends to ramp up efforts to deport undocumented immigrants, focusing on enforcement and stronger legal actions. Ending catch and release. Trump has vowed to end the practice of allowing migrants to remain in the U.S. while awaiting hearings, believing this will prevent illegal immigration and reduce strain on U.S. resources. While Trump's supporters argue that these policies are necessary to protect American jobs and national security, critics contend that these measures are inhumane and ineffective. Either way, expect significant legal and political battles over these policies. When it comes to foreign policy, Trump is known for being unpredictable. But looking ahead, here are a few areas where we can expect to see major shifts. Russia-Ukraine conflict. Trump has suggested that he could broker a deal to bring an end to the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. However, many fear he could be too lenient with Russian President Vladimir Putin, potentially weakening U.S. support for Ukraine. Tensions with China. Trump's hardline stance on China is unlikely to change. We could see more trade wars, tougher restrictions on Chinese companies, and a stronger U.S. military presence in the Indo-Pacific region to counter China's growing influence. NATO relations. Trump has long been critical of NATO, calling out European allies for not paying their fair share. In his second term, he could push for further changes, possibly reducing the U.S. role in the alliance or demanding greater financial contributions from NATO members. Trump's America First foreign policy will continue to challenge global norms. Whether this approach strengthens the U.S.'s position or isolates it from its allies depends on your perspective. Trump's ongoing battle with the media is far from over, and it could intensify in his second term. Here's what we can expect. Mainstream media battles. Trump will continue his attacks on major news networks like CNN and MSNBC, while boosting support for more conservative outlets such as Fox News and Newsmax. Social media comeback. After being banned from major platforms like Twitter, Trump has returned to social media with a vengeance. His use of platforms like Truth Social, Twitter X, and others will continue to be a significant part of his strategy to control the political narrative. Big tech regulation. Trump may push for stricter regulations on tech companies, demanding greater transparency and pushing for laws to prevent what he calls censorship on social media. Why does this matter? Trump's media presence will remain a key component of his political strategy. His ability to dominate the narrative and keep the media focused on him is one of his most powerful tools. Trump's second term will likely be marked by legal challenges and political drama. Here's what we can expect. Investigations and lawsuits. Trump is facing multiple investigations, and some of these may still be ongoing in 2025. Expect these legal battles to dominate headlines. Impeachment attempts. If Democrats hold control of Congress, impeachment efforts may rise again. Trump's legal troubles could fuel calls for his removal from office. Civil unrest. Trump's presidency is almost certain to spark protests and rallies, both in support of and against him. The political polarization in the country means that his leadership could exacerbate existing divides. What's next? Trump's ability to fight back and leverage his legal challenges for political gain will keep the nation on edge throughout his second term. So, what does a second Trump presidency mean for the country? If you're a supporter, you see a return to strong leadership, a focus on economic growth, and a secure border. If you're a critic, you fear increased division, chaos, and an erosion of democratic values. No matter where you stand, one thing is certain: a second Trump term will be anything but quiet. The impact of his presidency will be profound, and the world will be watching closely. What do you think? Will Trump make America great again in 2025? Or are we in for another roller coaster ride? Drop a comment below, and let's dive into this conversation. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe,